Good evening, YouTube channel. My name is Angela Platt, and this is my new station. It is called the Channel4Change. The reason why I have put this channel together is due to the heightened state that the United States of America, the world, is in. Not only are we attempting to recover from a pandemic called COVID 19, but we have also had to double down on the death, the murder, the lynching of Mr. George Floyd, which was the straw that broke the camel's back. We've had problems for a long time that we have sat on, looked the other way, and I want to give a special shout out to all the young men and women, black, white, male, female, uh, straight, gay, who have taken it upon themselves to carry this atrocity that has gone on entirely too long. I will continue to talk to you as I support the need for change. I am holding myself accountable. I am raising my level of responsibility, and I hope that we can travel this road together. I hope I encourage you to find something that you can do, that we can do together to bring about a permanent change. During the Tulsa race riot, which occurred over 18 hours between May 31st and June 1st, 1921, which was 99 years ago, a white mob attacked residents, homes, and businesses in the predominantly black Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma. The event remains one of the worst incidents of racial violence in the United States of history, and one of the least known about, because news reports were largely shut, despite the fact that hundreds of people were killed and thousands were left homeless. Okay? On May 30th, 1921, a young black teenager named Dick Rowland entered an elevator at the Drexel Building, an office building on South Main Street. At some point after that, the young woman in the elevator, the young white elevator operator, her name is reportedly Sarah Page, she screamed. Rowland fled the scene. The police were called, and the next morning they arrested Rowland. This information that I'm reading to you right now was updated, I believe, in 2019, and I'm getting it from historical documentation. By that time, rumors of what supposedly happened on the elevator had circulated through the city's white community. A front page story in the Tulsa Tribune that afternoon reported that police had arrested Rowland for sexually assaulting Page. As the evening fell, an angry white mob had gathered outside of the courthouse demanding that the sheriff hand over Rowland. The sheriff refused, and his men barricaded the top floor to protect the black teenager. Around 9 p.m., a group of 25 armed black men, including many World War I veterans, went to the courthouse to offer assistance guarding Rowland. The sheriff turned them away, and the white mob tried unsuccessfully to break into the National Guard armory nearby. With rumors flying as a possible lynching, a group of around 75 armed black men returned to the courthouse shortly after 10 p.m., where they were met by approximately 1,500 white men, some of them carrying weapons. After shots were fired and chaos broke out, the outnumbered group of black men retreated to Greenwood. Over the next several hours, groups of white Tulsans committed numerous acts of violence against blacks, including shooting an unarmed man in a movie theater. The purpose, we have a lot to cover, and I'm going to do the best I can to cover all bases. And whatever I don't get to tonight, I will be back to continue to share and to educate our community as a whole about our history and the things that we have to do moving forward. I will continue to call out the names of those people who died too soon, who left our life unfairly, without their permission, without their approval. And we together are going to do something different. We're all going to make a change. I bring this up because of all of the Miss Peggy's, Miss Karen's, and my personal favorite, Miss Ann. So, you know, we had the Miss Karen in New York, and I will give a gracious shout out to Mr. Cooper, because you lived to see another day. Your sister, this is a prime example of a woman stepping up and interceding on behalf of a man. He reached out to his sister based on the information that was provided through the media. He sent her the video, and she in return put the video out, I believe, on Facebook, and nature took its course. And based on my understanding, Miss Karen, aka Miss Cooper, decided that she wants to apologize. Well, this is my perception. That apology is based on getting caught and not on any sincere level of being better and doing better. We all mess up. We all come up short. None of us are perfect. Again, we all are responsible for our behavior. And what transpired was that which was inside of her the whole time. Miss Karen could have gotten Mr. Cooper killed. And I want us to remember that. She could have easily gotten him killed. It was the use of his video phone and him taking the high road and stepping back as she approached him. Now, had he approached her, that would have been an ugly story. But she approached him, strangling her dog and putting her finger into his face. And then she calls the police saying she feels threatened. The only person that appeared to be threatened was Mr. Cooper. So this is a prime example of what I shared in my probably my first video. We have got to pray for our men. We've got to pray for them. Our men come under Jesus. Jesus comes under God. I believe in the Holy Trinity. They are the head. And if you cut the head off, the body flounders. So I give a personal thank you to his sister for looking out for her brother. And he is able to see another day, and he can provide his personal testimony, and he can talk to other men and talk to the community at large and help all of us to make a difference, because every woman ain't a Miss Karen, is not a Miss Peggy or Miss Ann. I like Miss Ann. That's my personal favorite. I've gotten some information that was updated May 29th, 2020. We're going to go back to what's going on in our present day. Police, it is documented that police in 2019 killed approximately 1,099 unarmed black men and women. it is reported that in 2015, it was approximately 104 unarmed black men killed by police, and this is in 2015. 1 in 3 black people were killed in 2015 were identified as being unarmed. 13 police officers of the 104 cases in 2015 were charged in the crime. Okay? 4 mistrials, 1 dropped charges. 4 cases waiting for trial as of May 29, 2020, and 4 cases resulted in convictions. 1 officer did plead guilty. The officers that were convicted of the crime, none of them served more than 4 years in prison. 1 went to prison for 3 months. 1 went to jail for 3 months. 1 went to prison for 4 years. 1 went to prison for 2.5 years, and 1 pled guilty but has not been sentenced. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you, as I said I always will. I'm going to tell you some of the people who died. Unarmed black men, women, and children who have been killed by the police in 2014. Starting with, hold on, I apologize. Hold on. Mr. Tamir in Cleveland, Ohio, shot by police. He was 12 years old. Mr. Oliver Gregory, Baytown, Texas, shot by police. He was 26 years old. All of this happened in 2014. Shot, killed, and murdered. Mr. George V. King was killed in Baltimore, Maryland, 2014. He was 19 years old. Mr. Dominique Franklin Jr. was murdered by the police in Chicago, Illinois. He was 23 years old. I can't see this gentleman's name. Mr. Rondre Lamar Hornbeck, Ardmore, Oklahoma. He was 38 years old. Mr. Tommy Yancey, Imperial, California, murdered by the police. He was 32 years old. Mr. Quentin Bird, Barnesville, Georgia. He was 21 years old. Miss Yvette Smith, Bastrop, Texas. She was 47 years old. She was shot coming out of the door at the direction of the police. Mr. John H. Crawford III, Beaver Creek, Ohio, shot and killed by the police. He was 22 years old. Mr. Ricky D'Angelo Hinkle, Birmingham, Alabama. He was 47 years old. Mr. Jermaine C. Reed, Bridgeton, New Jersey. He was 36 years old. Mr. Wally Flex, Chicago, Illinois. He was 16 years old. Mr. Corey Levert Tanner, Bunell, Florida. He was 24 years old. I can't see this young lady's name. I apologize. Mr. Zacharias Flint, Columbus, Georgia. He was 20 years old. All of these people were killed at the hands of the police in 2014. And of course, the list goes on. What I would like to do is start, I did it in my previous video. We will start talking about the election. I am not the most political person. I didn't start getting interested in the election until the second term of George Bush. I did the best I could. I can't always say that I voted correctly, but I did vote for George Bush in the second term because I didn't like President-elect Kearney. I didn't know much. I went based on the information that I had, and I can sincerely tell you that that was the longest 4 years of my life. Ooh, them 4 years was long. Um, but they weren't as challenging as the 4 years that we're dealing with right now. Um, and ever since that term with Bush, I've taken a more proactive position when it comes to voting. I have voted Republican. I have voted Democratic. I have voted on what I thought was the issues. Um, I'm not ashamed to say that I voted for Bush. I am not ashamed to say that I listened to Trump. I didn't vote for him, but I did listen to him, and I was interested in some of the things that he had to say. What I will be doing is in my next video, I will start opening um, the platform to talk about President elect Joe Biden, talk about what he did as the VP and as the senator of the United States. I think he was the senator of Delaware or Denver. I got to go back and look at my notes. And he was the vice president under President Barack Obama. And I'm also going to look at the position that Trump stands for and what are his beliefs. He's still the president of the United States. And I also shared with you that I will continue to find people to pray for. And I figured I might as well pray for the president of the United States because he's still president. He's president until he's no longer president, which will more than likely be in November, but we'll see. Make sure you get out and vote. I really do hope that you got something off of my platform. I'm very sincere about raising the bar. I am not a political, I'm not a naturally political person, so I figured if I do my homework, I'm going to help me and you. You know, why is the United States so divided? Why are we so pitched against each other? Why does it have to be red and blue? You know, it used to be a time that black people were predominantly Republican. I bet you didn't know that. Do your homework. So my prayer for President Trump is that he learns that he needs to pray daily for his responsibilities for America. He needs to depend on the Lord as his term as president nears its closure. You know, he can still go out doing the right thing. You know, it's okay to do better now than before. You're always supposed to progress up. So as your term as president comes to a close, you can do better, be better. It's my prayer that he rejects ungodly counsel. I pray that he has the courage to do what is godly, what is correct, what is righteous. You know, he stood before the church. He held up the Bible. First Lady Melania allowed him to hold his hand. I pray that he is readily willing to forsake his personal ambition. You know, the media said that was a photo op. I don't know. Probably wasn't the best thing to do. I pray that his personal ambitions do not precede what is good for our country. I thank you that our prayer for him is to help him to rely on prayer and the word, the Bible, for strength, for courage, and for wisdom as he continues to make decisions up until his last day in office, 2020. If you got anything out of this, please subscribe. Please leave me constructive criticism, constructive critique. I will listen. I will read. I will do my best. I will raise the bar. I am praying for the safety of all of the people who are protesting. And help me help you to help us. You have an awesome evening, and I will talk to you soon.